what Professor Cardiff just said.
Go ahead, repeat.
So I was going to go into a bit of the history of the flat Earth theory. Okay, and so I was going to go into a bit of the history of the flat Earth theory, which is that, well, historically, the ancient Greeks, like, they calculated how big the Earth was, and historically, people have known that the Earth is round. It wasn't Columbus who discovered it or anything like that. So what happened to make people suddenly think that, oh, a bunch of people believe the Earth is flat? Sorry. So what happened is that it was used as an ad hominem insult to entire cultures and civilizations. Like, oh, your people recently believed the Earth was flat, so why should we believe you now? That was the insult. And the thing is, that insult got so prominent that people started believing it was true. And then eventually, now it's part of common mythology, and people even now believe that the Earth is flat. So, in that vein, the video I chose, if you're not a flat Earth believer, it's pretty obvious that this is satire. But I analyzed it seriously, so let's go. So I started here.
1920.
So he goes on like, oh, the cube theory cannot be true, and he's like trying to tell you that it was debunked in the 1920s. However, if you pause and you look carefully, first of all, it's talking about cyber technology, data cubes. Second, it references something in the 1990s, even though it's dated 1920. And third, it says Mr. Beast times at the top. That's not a scholarly article. Okay, and so, additionally, there's, he also makes apophenia, authority bias, and so I'm going to play a clip right now.
Fortnite is flat, which means our Earth is flat. What?
Yeah, so he makes that connection. Because the Fortnite world is flat, therefore our Earth is flat. And since he knows his audience is largely kids and many of them enjoy Fortnite, like this is authority bias to them because they think of Fortnite as an authority and like something that they like and that is good. And so, additionally, he tells people to think about things. Like, so he uses effect heuristic quite a bit, and so
the world is flat. Think about it. If it wasn't for these clouds, you'd be able to see to the edge of the Earth. That would ruin everything.
Okay. So, like, this is all about gut instinct right here. This argument, like, if the clouds were not there, you could see to the edge of the Earth. However, this is also framing because instead of wondering if the Earth is flat or not, he's saying if the clouds are there or not. Like, so it makes you think about a different question instead of the problem that he's actually trying to discuss. And he does that a lot in the course of the video. He goes off into tangents like is the Earth a donut or not? And like, so he does a lot of distracting comments that don't really like apply to whether or not the Earth is flat or round. And so that's part of the thing is that, well, for one thing, he's making an entertaining video. He can't go on about the same thing over and over again. But like another is that he's being distracted. Okay. Another one. So here we see the framing effect where he asks a loaded question and gets the response that he wants.
Chance we're gonna like fall off the edge of the Earth and find out.
So he asks, is there a chance that we could fall off the Earth? And like, instead of wondering, is the Earth flat? It's like, are we gonna fall off? And then so the response he gets from that loaded question is, don't say that, you're gonna jinx us. Okay. And so yeah, another effect heuristic where he tries to use gut instinct based on the fact that like centripetal force. Okay, so people know that when things are spinning, like things fall off. So like when you spin a bucket, like water will not fall out of it. So like he uses effect heuristic to try to get people to apply this to the Earth as well.
Oh guys, if the Earth was spinning at 2,000 miles an hour, don't you think we would just fall off? Obviously the Earth is flat, because if you spin at 2,000 miles an hour while flat, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, pretty obviously satire, but yeah. So the thing is, like, after like my research, I realized that it's only in modern times that people really believe the Earth is flat, and I really cannot understand why. Like historically, it's just an insult to call someone else a flat earther, and so I personally do not think the Earth is flat because it would take far too large of a conspiracy for the Earth to actually be flat, because we'd have to have been wrong for over 2,000 years, almost 3,000. So yeah.